Welcome to this short clinic on side crow, or Parsva Bakasana. Filmed in beautiful Santorini, this is a review of some of the work that we did while on the Nova Yoga retreat. For this practice, you'll need a space at the wall, the leg of a sturdy chair or table, or a friend's ankle. Don't worry, this will be clear soon. And also a blanket or a pillow to serve as a confidence booster or a crash pad is optional. Let's dive in. Start seated on your heels in Vajrasana, hero's pose, hands at your heart center. Breathe deeply and evenly. With every inhale, lengthen up through the crown of your head, and with every exhale, settle down. Reach forward onto your hands and your knees, and then shift back into child's pose. Take your knees wide, big toes together at the back of your mat. Stretch your arms out in front of you. Drop your head and relax. Now walk your hands over to the right for Parsva Bakasana. Once you get your hands to the right, drop your head and then lift up on your right belly and shift your whole torso over to the right so your torso lays more over on your right thigh. Then let your left shoulder blade get heavy and drop down towards the floor. Twist a little to the right. Come up onto your right fingertips and press down so much that you can lift your right shoulder up a little bit. Come back to the center and then walk your hands over to the left. Lift your left belly up and then shift your torso over to the left, aiming your navel to your left thigh. Let your right shoulder blade get heavy and drop down towards the floor. Twist to the left. Come up onto your left fingertips and press down so that you can lift your left shoulder up a little bit and twist a little further. And then come back to the center, stretch forward and relax. Walk your hands in towards your knees and then cross your ankles behind you. Roll over your ankles to come into a seat. And then scoot forward so you have room to lie back on your mat. Plant your feet hip-width distance apart. Anchor your big toes down and then exhale, roll back for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. When you get there, bring your knees in towards your chest and take your arms out into a T with the palms facing down. Bring the shins parallel to the earth, knees together, feet flexed, toes spread for Jatara Parivartanasana. Inhale, anchor your left shoulder blade down, and exhale, hover your knees halfway to the right. Squeeze your knees together, turn your belly from the right to the left. Inhale, come back to the center and anchor your right shoulder blade down. With your exhale, hover the knees halfway to the left. Squeeze your knees, flex your feet, turn the belly from the left to the right. Inhale, come back to the center, and exhale, go over to the right again. Squeeze your knees, turn the belly, and then tuck your knees up towards your right elbow into a little ball. Maybe stretch the legs towards straight. Hug the bottom leg up into the top leg and turn the belly to the left. Bend your knees, inhale, come back to the center, and exhale, left. Squeeze your knees, turn the belly, and then tuck your knees up towards your left elbow. Maybe stretch the legs towards straight. Hug the bottom leg up into the top leg. Turn the belly to the right. Now we're going to practice this pose again. Jatara Parivartanasana means turning the stomach, and that's literally what we're doing, going for a big twist since this is a big key part of side crow. So to set up, lay down next to something you can grab. In class at the retreat, we did this by holding onto a friend's ankle, which you can do here if you have a friend nearby, or you can hold onto a sturdy table leg or a chair leg. I am using a bolted down umbrella stand, so use what you have. Hold onto your support with your right hand, arms straight, and then get set up with your knees bent, shins parallel to the floor. Inhale, anchor your right shoulder blade down, and then exhale, hover your knees halfway to the left. Focus on turning the belly up to the sky and to the right so that as your legs go to the left, the torso stays as stable as you can make it, navel moving from the left to the right. The support you're hanging onto should make it easier to twist from the belly this way. Come back to the center, and then go to the left again, turning the belly back to the right. Practice this on the other side as well, holding onto your support with the left hand and hovering your knees to the right. This side isn't pictured in the video because the umbrella stand was only on one side, so I could only do one side, but you'll need to switch and do the other side. So holding onto the support with your left hand with your arms straight, knees bent, shins parallel to the floor, anchor your left shoulder blade down, and then with your exhale, hover your knees halfway to the right. Focus on turning the belly up to the sky and back to the left. So you're turning from the belly. Inhale, come back to the center, and then exhale, go over to the right again and focus on turning the belly back to the right. Great. Now roll over onto your side and make your way into standing. Find a space at the wall and then come to sit in a version of chair pose or Utkatasana at the wall. Make sure your feet are together and your knees are together. Look down and see if you can see just your big toes beyond your knees. Then lean forward slightly so you feel your two sit bones against the wall. With your inhale, reach your arms up alongside your ears, and with your exhale, bring your hands together at your heart in prayer. Inhale, lengthen the crown of your head forward to lengthen your spine. And then exhale, twist to the left for Parsva Bakasana. Hook your right elbow outside the left thigh. Now release your prayer hands for a moment and bring your left hand to the top of your left thigh. Push that hand down on the thigh so you can get leverage to lift your left belly up. And then snuggle your right elbow further down your left thigh, aiming your elbow for your left hip. Then return your hands to prayer, take a deep breath in and exhale. Press your hands together and twist deeper. Turn your belly, bring your thumbs towards your heart. Take your chin out of your chest and lean back. See if your right knee has come forward past the left knee and steer your right hip back so both sit bones are against the wall. With your inhale, release back to center. Reach your arms up, extend the crown of your head forward, and then exhale. Let's go to the other side. Hands to your heart, twist to the right, left elbow outside the right thigh. And then release your prayer hands, bring your right hand to your right thigh, push that hand down and lift your right belly up to twist a little further, then snuggle your left elbow further down your thigh. Bring your hands back to prayer. Take a big deep breath in and exhale. Press your hands together to twist deeper. Turn the belly. Bring your thumbs towards your heart. Take your chin out of your chest and lean back. Then steer your left hip back so both sit bones are against the wall and your knees are even. With your inhale, come back to the center and exhale, stand up away from the wall and then give your legs a little shake. Great job. Return to your mat, come down to all fours, and then lift the hips up and back into downward facing dog. With your inhale, come forward to plank pose. Push your hands down, navel in, legs strong, and then exhale, lower your knees to the floor and come all the way down to the belly. In side crow, we make a shelf with the arms like in chaturanga, so we're going to practice that here. On the belly, tuck your toes behind you and strengthen your legs so much so that the kneecaps lift off the floor. This is the lower body action of chaturanga. Now for the arms, line up your wrists right under your elbows. For most of us, that means we'll need to move the hands back some. Next, lift your shoulders up so they're in line with your elbows. You'll need to lift up through the head and the chest to make that happen. Now imprint this shelf shape in your mind so we can bring it back in when you need it. And then stretch your toes back. Anchor the tops of your feet to the floor. And with your inhale, enjoy a nice lift of the chest in cobra pose or bhujangasana. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Exhale, lower down, tuck the toes, and lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Lower your knees to a tabletop position. Now we're going to warm up the wrists and stretch the forearms. This is key for arm balances. Start by simply rocking forward and back on all fours, bringing your shoulders over the wrists and back again. And then turn your hands sideways and rock from side to side. Then turn the hands backwards. This is intense. Bend the elbows a tiny bit. It will be more intense if you lean back and less intense when you lean forward. And so you can play with this, rocking forward and back, bending the elbows a little bit if you want to. And if it's too intense, you could try it with one hand at a time. So turning one hand forward, the other hand back, rock forward and back, and then switch sides. Release, and then sit back on your heels. Turn your hands so the backs of your hands are on the ground with the palms facing up, and stretch the top of the wrists and the forearms. Then release, sit up, and take your left fist in your right palm and press the fist into your hand to stretch. And then switch sides. Stretch. And give your hands a shake. Then come back into a tabletop position so we can practice finding that chaturanga shelf with the arms. Spread the fingers wide, grip the floor with your fingertips, belly in, ribs in. Take a big breath in, and then exhale, bend the elbows straight back 1 inch. Inhale, press back up. Exhale, bend the elbows 2 inches. Inhale up. Exhale, bend the elbows to a square. Remember the imprint. Shoulders lift up away from the floor in line with the ears. Inhale, press up. We have 4 more of these. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lift. This is our last one. Exhale, bend. And inhale, lift. And then press back to child's pose. Drop your head and relax. Okay, it's time to work on some variations of side crow. The first is a supine version. So make your way onto your back. Bring the shins parallel to the floor, flex your feet, spread your toes, knees together. Interlace your hands behind your head. Take an inhale, and then with your exhale, lift your head and your chest up. Hover your knees halfway to the left. Then bring the palms together, link your fingers, and stretch the index fingers out. Twist the upper body to the right, arms on the outside of your right thigh. Then release the clasp of your hands, hook the left elbow outside of the right thigh, and come into pretend chaturanga with your arms. Hold, turn the belly. This is the supine version of side crow. With your inhale, release, head to the floor, hands back behind the head. Exhale, let's go to the other side. Lift your head and chest up. Hover your knees halfway to the right, then bring your palms together. Stretch your index fingers out. Twist the upper body to the left, arms on the outside of your left thigh. Then release the clasp of your hands. Hook the right elbow on the outside of the left thigh and come into pretend chaturanga with your arms. Hold, turn the belly, and then release back to the center. Stretch your legs up to the sky, hands behind your knees, and then rock up into a seat, Sukhasana. Next, we'll try a seated version of side crow. So balance on your sit bones, hands behind your knees, tip toes to the floor. Now flex your feet, bring the shins parallel to the floor. Inhale, and then exhale, twist from your belly to the right. Sneak your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh, and then come into chaturanga arms. This is Navasana side crow. Release back to the center, hands behind your knees, lift up through the chest with your inhale, and then exhale, twist your belly to the left. Hook your right elbow on the outside of your left thigh, come into floating chaturanga hands. Squeeze your knees, flex your feet, and breathe. Gaze between your hands, lift your chest. Release back to the center. Bring your feet to the floor, hands on the fronts of your knees. And then with your inhale, let your knees fall open and lift your heart up. Exhale, pull on your knees and round the back navel to your spine. Inhale, open the heart, let the knees fall open. Exhale, round back. And one more time, inhale forward and exhale back. Now make your way into a standing forward fold. Drop your head and relax. With your inhale, lengthen your spine, and then exhale, bring your feet together. Bend your knees as much as you need to, fingertips to the floor. With your inhale, lift high onto the balls of your feet and squat down with your knees together, heels lifted in a little toe squat. Here's our first prep for side crow or Parsva Bakasana. Keep your hands where they are and take your knees over to the left. Twist your belly from the left to the right. Now we'll set up the connection points of the arms and the legs. So twist so your left upper arm is on the outside of your right thigh. Then bend your right elbow to make contact with your right outer hip. Do that a few times, bending and straightening your back elbow to make contact with the hip. Now twist your knees to the other side. Find the contact points, right upper arm to the outside of the front thigh, and then bend your left elbow to make contact with the left outer hip. Even if this is where you stay to practice today in this twisty toe squat, you're getting a wonderful twist and you're practicing most of the actions for this pose. Okay, here's where you may want to grab a pillow or a blanket for your confidence booster or crash pad. Here's our first shot at liftoff. So in your toe squat, take your knees over to the left again and get a little deeper into the twist, snuggling your left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Place your left hand down, fingers spread wide, and then take your right hand shoulder width apart from there. Bend your right elbow and make contact with your back hip. Now, this is really important. Look forward between your two hands and stretch your spine long in that direction between your hands. Lean forward, be brave. Bend your elbows, think chaturanga, and build that shelf with your arms. Shoulders lifted up, elbows bent to a square. As you lean, try to keep your spine straight, so as your torso dips down, your feet might lift up like a seesaw. Keep flexing your feet, toes spread and active, and turn your belly towards the floor. Release the feet to the floor and switch sides. Take your knees over to the right, get deep in the twist, snuggle that right elbow to the outside of the left thigh, place your right hand down, fingers spread wide, then take the left hand, shoulder width apart from there. Bend the left elbow, make contact with your back hip. Look forward between your two hands, stretch your spine long and lean forward. Bend your elbows, think chaturanga, and build that shelf with your arms, shoulders lifted up. Think about that seesaw, and maybe your feet will lift. Feet flexed, toes spread, turn the belly towards the floor. Nice. Let's come back to the center and take a little wrist stretch. So lift your hips and fold, then step your right foot on your right hand. Left foot on the left hand for Padahastasana. Bend the knees as much as you need to, drop your head, and relax. It's really important to stretch the wrists whenever you need to when you're doing arm balances so they get a little break. Now release the hands. And let's go back in again for our last version of side crow. In this version, there's no weight on the back arm, so you won't make that connection with the outer hip and the back elbow. Some people find this easier and some find it harder, so give it a whirl and see what happens. It's a bigger twist, so we will focus a lot on that. So come into that toe squat and twist the knees to the left, hands in front of you. Let's get into a deeper twist. So inhale, reach the left arm high. Exhale, pull the belly in and take the left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Now, like we did in our twisted chair at the wall, use your right hand on the right thigh to push down. Pull the belly in more and twist more. Sneak the left elbow down to the middle of the thigh. Place your left hand down and line up the pinky finger with the pinky toe of the right foot, and then take the right hand shoulder width apart from there. Look forward past your hands, lean your heart right between your hands and forward. Inhale, then exhale, lean forward. Build a chaturanga shelf with the left arm resting the middle of the thigh on the left upper arm. No weight on the back arm. Lift your hips up, feet up. Think about lifting your top hip up to the sky. Turn your belly towards the floor. Stretch the heart forward, head up. Stay strong with your hands. Keep your feet flexed and spread your toes. Release and set up for the second side. Twist your knees to the right, hands in front of you. Get deep in the twist. Inhale, reach the right arm up high. Exhale, pull the belly in. Take your right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. Use your left hand on the left thigh to push down. Pull the belly in more and twist more. Sneak the right elbow down to the middle of the thigh. Then place the right hand down and line up the pinky finger with the pinky toe of the left foot. This is a big twist. Then take the left hand shoulder width apart from there. Inhale and then exhale, lean forward. Build that chaturanga shelf with your right arm. Rest the middle of the thigh on the right upper arm, no weight on the back arm. Lift your hips up, feet up. Think about lifting your top hip up to the sky. Turn your belly towards the floor, stretch the heart forward, head up. Stay strong with your hands, keep your feet flexed, and spread your toes. You made it. Release, lift your hips and fold, keep your knees bent, and take the backs of your hands to the floor, palms up. Relax your head and breathe into your practice, knowing that whatever comes with your practice is exactly where your body and breath are meant to be. Namaste.